Hello. Welcome to EasyVB, Tips and Tricks 7. In Tips and Tricks 6, we provided an introduction to SAPI, text-to-speech, and developed a simple text-to-speech application.
In this video, we will continue on the SAPI subject, and explain how to change this default SAPI voice to any other installed and enabled voice on your PC.
Before we go on to explain in detail, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and even comment in support of the channel. Thank you. Okay. To explain, your PC will store the different SAPI voices with a numbered array reference, starting at 0. Not all of the installed voices will be enabled due to voice licensing status, and trying them will cause error, so it is important to know, not just which voices are installed, but which voices are enabled as well. We will cover that later in this video. First, let's demonstrate selecting and changing the voice. This is done easily with one line of code. SAPI.voice equals SAPI.getVoices.item, brackets, then a number, where the number is the PC array reference for the voice. On this tutorial PC, we have already identified that we have 4 installed and enabled voices. David, at array reference 0. Brian, at array reference 5. Emma, at array reference 6. And Zara, at array reference 8. So, we now added 4 buttons to our application, with the voice names, and added 4 click events, with single lines of code as shown. Let's run the application and test if the SAPI voice selection works by clicking each voice button in turn, and then the speak button.
Okay, we will now test each of our SAPI voice selection buttons for voices David, Brian, Zira, and Emma.
Okay, we will now test each of our SAPI voice selection buttons for voices David, Brian, Zira, and Emma.
Okay, we will now test each of our SAPI voice selection buttons for voices David, Brian, Zira, and Emma.
Okay, we will now test each of our SAPI voice selection buttons for voices David, Brian, Zira, and Emma.
Okay. That works fine. Now, how do we find out how many SAPI voices are installed on the PC? Again, this can be achieved with a single line of code, which is SAPI.getVoices.count. Go to the Form1 load event and add one line of code. tb1.text equals, quotes, the number of installed SAPI voices on this PC is, close quotes, and SAPI.getVoices.count, plus 1. Note that we add +1 because the SAPI array count starts from 0. Run the application. And there we have it. The number of SAPI voices installed is 10. Great. But how do we identify how many of the installed SAPI voices are enabled? This also is quite easy to do. We need to go to each SAPI voice array reference from 0 to 9 and trial speaking with the voice, then catch the errors for the attempts to speak with non-enabled voices, and also count the attempts to speak with the enabled voices. Add a variable, called enabled SAPI, and in the Form1 load event add the following. A try, catch, end try, statement, enclosed in a, for, next, loop. Run the application. There. We can now count how many of our SAPI installed voices are enabled. Okay. Now we have explored a bit more about SAPI, but there is a bit more still to learn. In Tips and Tricks 8 we will explain a method of listing the SAPI enabled and disabled voices, including their descriptions, and a method to select the voice from the list. Thanks for watching. We hope this tip and trick was useful. If it helped you, please like, share, and subscribe.